So hi, I'm Paul Maguire. I'm here to teach you and talk to you about how to get started in real estate investing. I've been a real estate investor since 1989. I've bought hundreds of homes, apartment buildings, commercial buildings. I built real estate, bought land and developed it, and I currently am a major holder of real estate myself. So I'm going to talk to you about how to get started. People ask me this question all the time. So let's get into it right here, right now. Creed wrote a song, the band Creed, called My Own Prison. It talked about people being a prison in their mind, right? And a lot of people I talk to that want to get started in real estate, they're just stuck in their head, okay? And indecision, and what should I do, and what do I do? So let's clear all that up right here, okay? First and foremost, real estate is very simple, all right? It's mostly, if we're talking about houses or apartments, it's made out of wood, concrete, wire, some pipes, some roofing material, and some windows, and some kitchens you can get at Home Depot, and some flooring you can get at Home Depot, and some paint that you can get at Home Depot. In other words, if you go to Home Depot, most of the things you need that are in a piece of real estate are there. So it's not a complicated topic, okay? Getting started in owning real estate has many different options for you. Today, there's everything from getting into Airbnb and leasing somebody's property and then releasing it with their permission, to buying fix-up homes, fixing and flipping, which I've covered, to buying multifamily, which I've covered. Okay, all of those things are possible to get started in real estate. But what I would suggest you do first and foremost is educate yourself about real estate. Here's some terms you want to learn about. Get a pen and paper, write this down. Number one, price per square foot. What is the price per square foot of the property that you're looking to buy? Okay, in order to get started, you kind of need to know what you're looking at, right? You kind of need to get some data points of what things are worth and what you should pay. So the first thing is, what's the price per square foot of the property? You figure that out by a $300,000 property, 1,000 square feet, that's $300 a square foot. 300,000 divided by 1,000 is $300 a square foot. That's what the property is selling for, okay? The second thing you have to understand in looking at property and getting started is, what are things worth? Okay, what are they worth today? What are they worth fixed up? What are they worth today? What are they likely going to be worth in the future? These are numbers that you want to get your arms around. How do you get those numbers? You can put in the address online and look at a property, and some of the different sites will show you what other similar properties have sold for. You can also use a realtor to help you to get some comparable sales. What compared to this property, what have other similar properties in the area sold for? That'll give you some information, okay? The other thing about getting started in real estate is the mindset, okay? Let's talk about the mindset. When we talked earlier on about My Own Prison, let's talk about the mindset, okay? The mindset of real estate is learn about it and act on it. The second part is important. Now, how do you act on it? Well, you need financing, right? Usually, you don't have all cash. You need to be able to get loans, okay? I've covered that on my channel. You also need to have the mindset of understanding that there's gonna be fear. You're gonna be a little scared. You gotta overcome that, okay? And even if you make a mistake, as long as it's not a big one, real estate can be very forgiving, all right, in time. Because typically real estate over time, because land and costs go up, goes up. So in order to get started, you're gonna have to start doing some research about, pick an area that you wanna buy in, find out what things sell for, find out what the average price per square foot is, and do that research. Now, where can you do that? I use realtor.com all the time. I like that website. I use Zillow as well, but I like realtor.com better. And I like it because I could put in a city and a state, and I could put in what's available. Say I want single family or I want multifamily, and it'll show me everything for sale, right? And then I could kind of analyze, well, what's the lowest, what's the highest, okay? And what are things selling for? And what kind of condition are they in? And what do they look like in the pictures? And can I get, this property or that property for below market value because I need to do a little work on it? Or can I pick up these units and what are they selling for compared to other units, right? What kind of rents do they bring in compared to how much money I need to buy them and to pay the loan, right? So in order to get started, okay, you really have to like engage in information and start learning on your own. Another thing I do a lot is I go to open houses. Now, people say, well, you go to open houses, waste your time. It's not a waste of time. The last open house I went to, I ended up buying a house that was off market for $435, and I sold it for $570. I remodeled the kitchen, painted it, fixed some things. If I didn't get out of my car, off my ass, and go into the open house, I wouldn't have known anything, right? Because I didn't stop and look. So stop and look, check stuff out, see what stuff's going for. You do go to open houses for 3 or 4 weekends in a row in your neighborhood, you're gonna get an idea what things sell for. You also have already started because now you're engaged. You're meeting realtors, you're seeing property, you're seeing what it sells for, you're seeing neighborhoods, okay? So that's a good way to get started. Another thing, and I'll tell you how I got started, was I saw an open house and I met a guy named Mally. I did a video on this, how I bought 53 homes and all that. I talked about meeting Mally. Mally was a guy who was fixing up stuff, and I just clicked. And I ended up investing with him, right, on my first deal and sort of learned the game. So that's another way to get started in real estate, is someone that you trust, invest with them and fix up a house, or a group of you get together and buy a property and fix it up and sell it or rent it, okay? Another way to get started in real estate is to get your real estate license. Your real estate license doesn't take a lot of time, it's not that expensive, and it gets you in that world, okay? It gets you access to all the information on the MLS. And I gotta tell you, a lot of the money that I make buying and fixing homes, and I do it all the time, I like a lot, like 20, 30 houses a year sometimes, is I use realtors because they'll call you and give you deals, right? So when you get started in this game of buying and fixing or buying and holding real estate or whatever, you can always go the professional route and get your degree in it and learn it, right? Or you could just start going out and engaging, going to open houses, looking at price per square foot, looking at line, and getting a concept of what's going on out there. Now, another thing that people have to realize to get started in real estate is you need what? Money, okay? So if you want to get started in real estate, I often say don't buy stupid shit, okay? Sorry for the cuss, but it just sort of gets to the point. If you're buying a bunch of stuff you don't need, you're gonna have a hard time getting started in real estate as an investor, because what happens is all your capital is either spent or, and this is the worst part, committed to future payments. If you're committed to future payments and you've got, $3,000 a month coming in and you're committed to $1,800 in payments, it doesn't leave you a lot of extra money. So when I got started in real estate, one of the things I did was I kept my overhead very low. I rented a room, for example. I didn't have my own apartment, or I had a shared apartment later on. So somebody paid half the rent. I had an older model car, it got me around. It wasn't anything sexy, okay, but it got me from point A to point B. And that allowed me to accumulate and save money so I can invest in real estate. And lastly, and most important, if you want to get started in real estate, I recommend that you find a mentor, someone that can help you and teach you the ropes. For me, when I first started back in the 80s, I listened to the Robert Allen tapes, No Money Down. There was 16 of them, and Robert, who I met once at a seminar, helped me more than he could know by listening to all those tapes, okay? So there are mentors out there that can help you. I'm one of them, of course, but there's many others. Study, read books, okay? Go to Barnes & Noble, get a book, watch YouTube videos on people who are investing in real estate like this one to find out what they're doing and how they're doing it. Now, I gotta warn you, sometimes you can get a little frustrated because it seems like everybody's making all this money. I'll tell you, in reality, they're making probably less than they're telling you, okay? The fact of the matter is that if you can get a condo, a mobile home, a house, and you could fix it and sell it and make a little bit of money, that's good, okay? That's how you get started, right? For me, it was buying homes that were under 100,000, in rougher areas. But I fixed them up and I sold and I learned, right? So remember the old saying, right? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with what? A single step, right? How do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time, right? So you're starting, you're learning, you're getting into the game. Start, read about it, learn about it. Learn about financing, which I've covered on some of the YouTube channels. Go out and look at new homes, see what those sell for. And then, you know, if you're comfortable and you're ready and you feel like you could buy something, buy it, okay? You're never gonna be 100% sure, but a decision is better than no decision. So if you've got a realtor to help you, if you've got a mortgage or a banker to help you, and you qualify and you wanna get started, buy an investment property, buy a home, buy a fourplex, buy a duplex. Look at getting an owner-occupied FHA loan where you only have to put 3.5% down. Now you may find, say with a single family home, you put 3.5% down, you qualify for 200. But with a fourplex where you live in one and rent out the other three, you may qualify for more money because you can use the rents from the other properties, right? So all these things are little nuggets that you'll learn as you get in the game of real estate. But like any profession, you want to surround yourself around people that are doing it. I'm doing it every day. I do it all the time. I'm probably one of the top guys, if not the top guy in my area, in terms of buying properties, fixing up and selling, and there's others. But to get started, you got to start. Research, learn, invest your time, keep your capital, cut your expenses. And of course, as we mentioned, you could always get your license and get involved and learn that side of it as well. I'm Paul Maguire. If you like what I had to share with you today, please comment down below, like, and please, if you'd like to have you join my channel, if you would like to learn more about this. On the next video, I'm going to talk about more things about investing and making money in the real estate, which to me, you know, creates freedom long-term if you follow the steps. It's almost like if you want to get your master's degree or want to get your BA degree, there's all these courses you take and then you get the degree and you master the subject. In the subjects of success in real estate, there's certain things you need to do. You learn about financing, you learn about price per square foot, you learn about the value of properties, you learn about trading properties like Monopoly, a couple houses, you get a hotel, you learn about cash flow, you learn about tenants, you learn about management, you learn about what materials it takes to fix a house, you learn how much it costs to fix a house. I'm going to cover that today. How much does adding a kitchen help with the value of a house? So all these things, you want to gather the information and engage with people, go to seminars, watch videos, and be around people that are doing it and are successful. I'll see you on the next video.